Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 78 of the 100-Day Project. Now, I think this video will be most useful to beginners and anyone who wants to use up pages from field guides. And I think a lot of us have those books, either of flowers or birds or animals or similar type subject matter. The pages tend to be quite small, and they're always glued in, so you don't really get a signature page when you take it apart. So I thought maybe it was high time to use some of those and similar type pages to create some very basic envelopes. So I'll just show you the sorts of books that I've taken them out of. Now, I did not, well, when I looked at my flower field guides, I realized I don't have any duplicates. So at this point, I didn't really want to tie into them. I do have this book, though, and it has a variety of pages in it, including pretty well full-size images. And I'll show shortly another one like that. Shortly, I'll show you the sorts of pages I remove. Oh, and many of these, which would be typical of like a field guide type layout, where you basically have a lot of small images on a page. And there are actually quite a few of those in here. And luckily, this book does have a sewn binding, but I'll get to that in a moment. I also have this one, which is also small. It's 5.5 roughly by 3, 6, 7.5. And oh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Maybe it'll pass. Okay, so this one doesn't have a great deal of drawings, but the ones it has are nice, and they're full page. And the back, of course, is nothing to get too excited about. So I'll show you some of the pages I removed from here as well. And actually, there aren't very many in here at all. This, too, is sewn in. So what I should probably do is just finish taking this book apart, use all the images up. Oh, nice cover. Use, either use the cover or save the cover for the time being. Use the rest of it up, and somehow I just feel I feel good when I know that I've used something up kind of to the limit. This is a book that is different in that it's pretty old. It's from the 70s. No, from the 60s. And so back in the day, kids, people quite often did books this way. You often see them as cookbooks and sort of these almost like passion projects. I don't know if we'd want to call it vanity printing or not, but anyway, so typewritten pages. Now this one has, information about plants, and then it has these illustrations. And I mean, there are hundreds in here. So, I mean, it's just asking to be used. So when I took the first pages out, I discovered that, oh, now is this going to make a liar of me? Okay, so this, if I wanted to remove this one, it in fact is one piece of paper that, so, I mean, I guess if I remove this coil binding here, I'd end up with a signature. Mind you, would have those holes, so it wouldn't be much use to anybody. Anyway, so that's what that's neither here nor there. It has nothing to do with what we're doing today. And so I'm sure that as you're thinking about, or as you're watching this and listening to this, you probably are thinking about books that you have already in your stash that you could easily use for a project like this. So let me make some space here, and I'll show you kind of what I have saved out of some of these books. So this one is lovely because I like those colors. And it was one of the, you know how signatures are always glued to the next one also. So there are always some pages that you can't take out intact. So that would be a good one to use for this project. And these are similar. I mean, they're both, they have good diagrams on either side. So the other possibility for pages like this is to hinge them, and that way you don't lose anything. What is this? Okay, this is a signature page. I don't know that I'd want to use that, but I could. And these are just a bunch of signature pages that I salvaged from there that could easily find their way into some books, into some journals. Here's another lovely full pager. And, you know, I might choose to do something, make an envelope out of that. But that's basically what I'm saying. So unless you hinge a page like this, making an envelope out of it is going to be a good use of the paper. And because it's kind of a wall-to-wall design, it will be very attractive as well. Okay, so there's that. I showed you this. So what I did was I tore out some pages from each of the 3 books, and I basically made them square. So again, because of margins and so on, there's a limit to how big the square could be. But in virtually every case, I tried to make it as big as the paper would allow. 5 1/4 square. This would probably be the same. So I ended up having to trim, but of course, like on this one, on this one, if I'm going to trim, obviously I'll save more of the flowers and cut off the vase and the table. I'm sure that's going to be the same. Now this is out of that herb one. Same. This is out of the line drawing one. Same. This one I was able to make slightly bigger. So this is 5 3/4. So basically what we want to do with each of these, turn them over, and then let's make sure you can see something. Holding your ruler from, you know, corner to corner, roughly wherever you think the center is. I mean, you're just eyeballing. You can make a fine pencil line. Flip it and do the other 2 corners. And miraculously, you have found the center. So basically what you want to do is take, now these are going to be the side flaps off your envelope. And of course, for a crisper fold, you'd want to be using your bone folder here as well. So that's starting to look like an envelope. So then you can decide, let me clear the deck here a bit. You can decide how you want the bottom to be. Now I would, and in fact in this one that I did here, I folded it up, I don't know, what is that? That's a generous, well, that's probably 3/8 of an inch there. Oh, sorry, that's the top. That's the top flap. Yeah, I probably did the same at the bottom as well. So let's just do that. Roughly. Now, of course, if you line up the edges, then it should be good all across. So now it's really starting to look like an envelope. Now, if you don't like this very sharp point here, you can, you know, fold it under. Hopefully straight. that kind of reinforces it. And perhaps looks a bit neater. Oh, I can see now my pencil marker showing. And then, and you'd want a dab of glue there. And then you decide about your top flap. Now the other option here, I could have also used a corner rounder just to make it, you know, a little less pointy, because that it's only a single paper thickness, so it will, you know, take a little bit of a beating. So again, you obviously want enough to cover that part, but it's, you know, creator's choice. So for instance, I could have brought this way over so this point, and again, this could be rounded. Maybe I'll just do that. You know, I could have brought this point way down to here. It would end up being a shallower envelope, but that's fine. And again, because of the nature of this page, you know, these end up being pretty, okay, let's, you know, they're attractive. Like they're graphic because they're black and white. Boy, I couldn't have had a very sharp knife there. A person could color that in with watercolor or with colored pencils or felts or whatever, or leave it as such, and then whatever decoration you add to it is going to pop, because it's just, that's the nature of the paper. So then I thought, well, okay, let's try a smaller size. Let's make a set of these little cuties. So again, going to, and if I can just do a tiny little confession here, I thought, because like when I first got into this racket, I never was in the scrapbooking game. So I thought that you know, I didn't want to go whole hog and invest in every piece of equipment under the sun. Number one, it's very expensive. And number two, I kind of, after a lifetime, I kind of know myself a little bit too. I know that, you know, sometimes I do things for a while, and then when I've had enough, I just quit as quickly as I started. So We Are Memory Keepers has a product. Let me just reach for it. It is a combo paper cutter, scoreboard, envelope punch, and I'll just flip it over. So here is the envelope guide. Now apparently it will also do tags and banners, and here's the you know, the folder, bone folder. So I thought, well, okay, why don't I make a couple using this gadget and then show the option for the people who don't have this. But I'll tell you, and I've done it, you know, a while back, I will be damned if I can remember or could figure out what the heck this all meant. And I thought, you know what, I need to get a video done. I would just tell you that these sorts of products do exist, and clearly I've used it in the past. Granted, it was a long time ago. I know there are smaller, just specific envelope, what are they called? Envelope, I'm not sure. I mean, it's a fraction of size of this, but again, I was trying to get, you know, something that slices and dices and does windows and all that jazz. So that's why I have this one. But I'm also here to say that you don't need that for this. Okay, so here, maybe let's just trim, or not trim, but round those two edges as well. And of course, you have the option with any of these of gluing them, you know, putting a tiny bit of glue on either side and leaving it as such, or you can leave it so that it opens up. But look how, do you see how these are, I don't want to comply with. Let's just do that. And then I thought, well, okay, let's not waste the page. So these are 2x2 squares. So basically, what is going to determine the finished size of your envelope is the size of your paper and how much, you know, margin or text or whatever you might want to have on there. If you don't care about, like in this case, I just wanted it this way. But if you don't care about that, then, you know, I could have obviously made the envelopes bigger, and I have. This is also a nice project to use with some of those, again, very colorful book pages, with atlas pages or music pages. I was specifically, though, thinking about the florals, the field guides that we have. Now, I didn't bother looking for a bird one. I know I have some duplicates of those. But look, can you see? Can you see? Can you see? How very cute. Maybe that should be my flap, and I'll make this the bottom part. I remember Natasha from Treasure Books did some wacky envelopes. See, unfortunately, more of the design is on the back than on the front. But this could also be glued down to a page like so, and something tiny tucked in there. Okay, let's do the last one like this. Then I'll do one of the colorful ones and we'll call it a day, because I know that you've already... Now, see, this one's going to be mostly... Well, let's do it. Let's do it just for the heck of it. Oh, I was saying Natasha had done a bunch of wacky envelopes. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what the deal was there, but I know I made several, and I loved it because it seemed to me that you didn't need to start with a square paper. And I don't know, yeah, probably didn't. Whoa, that's, I sure folded that crooked. How did that happen? That doesn't look that great either. Sometimes the smaller it is, the harder it is, because our fingers need some space to work. But, you know, cute, cute. You know, so if a person had several of these done, that could be the recurring theme throughout a journal or a project. And again, they they could be glued or not. If a person wanted to leave them open, it would also be possible. I don't seem to have a blank piece of paper here. Let's pretend this was a single thickness. A person could glue a piece of paper in the middle there that would be a journaling spot. I will just, for the time being, put these aside and show you some of the other ones that I sort of pre-cut. Let's do one like this, because this will give you kind of the more of the field guide feel. Boy, I missed the spot there. maybe what I should do is do all of these while I have this stuff in my hand. I hope you are well. I hope you're crafting your little heart out. I hope that there is no extreme or bizarre weather. Whoops. Where you are. I hope that if you're, maybe have some exciting plans for the upcoming summer season. For those of you that still have kids in school, it's always an interesting time where they're cramming for finals and thinking about the dog days of summer. For some kids, it's hard to stay focused at the best times, and then when the good weather is appealing, or where they can see the finish line in sight, it's even harder. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see my marks or not, but I can, so that's what I'm going to do. Folding in the sides first to that point of intersection. This will be a nice one. I mean, they're all nice in their own way, and I'm not going to take the time to do any rounding. I just want to get on with this. And of course, depending again on personal preference, you can continue to decorate it in some way, or just, if it looks as good as this, there's no need for it. Why is it? Oh, boy, how come that, it looks cockeyed. So I guess play around with, kind of be careful about your folds. Something is askew here. I don't know what it is. But I don't like that, the fact that it doesn't look square. I mean, not square, but the corners are not right angles. So it's out by that much. So I will continue to, I will continue to, I'll continue to crease this until there's nothing left of it. And just, that's, again, it's personal. It's your threshold for how square or not something is. Okay, that side is closer. There's still, I could probably live with that. Let's try to be a little more accurate on this one. And I suppose the other thing I could do is kind of visually line up my vertical. Okay, line up my 2 points. That would probably help on this grid line. Bring this up. Line it up on that line so that appears straight. Again, line up the points. Bring it up. Let me just bring this a little closer so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so this looks like it is going to be good. This is all equally as lovely, so it doesn't really matter. See, what I have been that's not good. What I've been trusting is that if my edge lines up here with the side, then automatically that's going to be straight, but not necessarily. Again, some of you are probably wondering, what is she doing? It's not perfect, but let's fold this one deeper and see how we like that look. Of course, it also makes the envelope smaller. Cute. Okay, 2 more, and we're calling it a day. So again, I'm going to try my best to line up these points. Get to this mark. That looks okay. Again, line up, line up, line up. That looks okay. You can see how the paper that you use determines the final. Boy, isn't that earth-shattering information? Oh, goodness. The paper you choose obviously determines what your final product is going to look like. So you can see 3 different papers, 3 totally different feels to the result. So naturally, as the creator, unless you're doing an eclectic one where anything, including the kitchen sink, goes, chances are you're going to, kind of try to have the envelopes match the feel of the book. Okay, last one. Again, lining up the points. And sometimes that's easier said than done, especially if you're trying to do a video. I have done this sort of thing with really large book pages, and those are nice because they almost can be like ephemera holders or whatever. So final fold. And again, how much more you choose to add to this will be personal choice. So let's just see what we have here. Gotta love these little guys. Cute or what? Quick or what? Simple or what? So anyway, thank you for joining me. There will be another video again tomorrow. And yeah, give this a try. You'll find that you have some book pages that lend themselves to this project beautifully. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.